What's up? It's your favorite Northern Belle, aka it's your girl Jor, and welcome back to another episode of So Hear Me Out. Today is our first ever solo dolo episode, so be nice to me. So hear me out. If you are in your 20s or have experienced your 20s or are looking toward your 20s, this shit is whack. I feel like because of the way the world is going, the shit is just not looking how it has been advertised. I don't know who I need to send a formal complaint to, but this shit is not what I thought it was gonna be, you know? Because it just seems like all my life I wanted to be in my 20s, right? I couldn't wait to be independent, couldn't wait to have a car, couldn't wait to have a boyfriend, live on my own, blah, 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 blah. What nobody told me was your 20s are a shit show. Like, it's crazy to say, but it's been a shit show since I got in this club. And honestly, I'm looking toward 30 because they seem like they're having more fun. And I know I can't really say a lot because I've only experienced half of my 20s, but I feel like I can give you a little nugget of, information to those who aren't 20 yet. And those who are in the 20s, you guys can help me out. And if you've experienced your 20s, you definitely can tell me if 30 looks better or if I should just enjoy these moments, okay? I just think that 20s is just a hybrid of your teens. But while I've been 5 years into my 20s, I've kind of just started to have a moment to think, and I'm going to share with you guys my 4 thoughts about being in your 20s thus far. The year 20s is about, your happiness. Your life is about your happiness, right? I'm a firm believer in if it doesn't make you happy, don't do it. I passed up job opportunities, experiences, things like that because they didn't align with my personal beliefs or values. And everything right now is just, as a person, I'm learning if it conflicts with your personal goals, it's not for you, right? So I've always been told by my mom, I don't tolerate a lot of nonsense. And I think in my 20s, I think I just don't acknowledge the nonsense either at this point. I'm very, oh, you did that, that's cool, and I'm going to walk away kind of person because I'm honestly at the age where I can say I'm too blessed to be stressed, and I just want to enjoy these moments as they come because every day is not the most fun day in my 20s, in life in general, but in the 20s, definitely learned. Do continuous life audits would be my other takeaway, my other little nugget. So what I've been doing since I've turned 20 is I take some time out of every month and I do a life audit. So what that looks like for me is I do my monthly budget. I plan out my meals for the month. I do my monthly spread of what I've achieved and what I need to do better at. I do different things that make me happy, and I just kind of evaluate where I'm at in life and where I want to be in life. So about every 3 months, every quarter, I go through, or actually I lied, every month, but every quarter I like to sit there and align my goals with how I want to be by the end of the year. And if that quarter, it just was not it, I try to set a goal by the end of the next quarter that I'm doing something at least that's aligning with getting me to where I want to be. So I would suggest holding yourself accountable is the most important thing. And also, accountability also aligns with this because I've learned that your finances literally start from when you get your first job, but in your 20s, you start to develop other habits and you start to see what habits are working for you and which ones are detrimental to you. So get in touch with your finances, see where all your money is going, cancel that subscription, cancel that gym membership if you're not going, do a YouTube workout at home, go for a walk around your community if you feel like you're comfortable enough to do that. But definitely your finances are top priority. Get those together, and honestly, I think it will alleviate a lot of the drama that goes on in your 20s. It's okay to start over is number 3. I can only speak for myself when I say this, but starting over is hard. I have had to start over so many times, and it feels like it's happened every year of my 20s, but I've had to start over so many times, and not just in a job, because I've had multiple jobs in my 20s, but starting over with everything. In 2019, I experienced my first adult quote unquote heartbreak. And literally in 2020, I experienced not really an adult heartbreak because we weren't together, but it just was a shit show of things that I was like, damn, I thought this was real high school stuff. So starting over, I also think that when I moved from New York to Virginia, I started over. And I think because I was a child in New York when I lived there, and I finished pretty much my childhood in Virginia because I was not a full grown adult when I first moved here, I am ready to move away again. Now, of course, I'm not the just up and move type of person. I'm very planned. But I think the next time I move, I'll be ready to fully start over as an adult and just start the things that I see for myself in adulthood, as far as like me full throttle. So is that going to happen when I'm 30? Is it going to happen when I'm 26? I don't know. But I just know that starting over is hard, but it's okay. And I've been enjoying it, you know? It's okay. People change their minds all the time, and don't ever let anything that you're seeing on social media, anything that your friends who have a different situation than you, you know, don't let those affect you. Don't be afraid to just jump out there and change the scene. If you feel like that's too big to just change where you live, change your hair, change the way you get your nails done, change the way you go to work, change something, and do that and start over. It's okay, you know? If you decide that you want to go back to school because you're not passionate about what you're doing right now, go back to school. Who's here to tell you that you can't do it? No one but yourself. You're standing in your own way. Lastly, unlearning learned behaviors is hard, okay? So a little tidbit about Jordan. I attempted my MBA. And when I say attempted, I mean I decided that literally after the first semester, this was not for me. I don't know if it was the institution that I was at just wasn't for me, or if that particular program wasn't for me. But I decided after the first, honestly, mid first semester, this is not what I want for me. I have, if you've heard me ever say it, I've been accidentally good at school, where I didn't have to apply much pressure to get good grades, or I didn't have a hard time excelling because I was interested in everything that I did. And I was not interested in anything that had to do with that MBA. So I don't want to say I wasted my time, because I tried an experience and it didn't end up being for me. And that's perfectly fine. I am A-okay with not having completed my master's program, because that wasn't for me. That's not what I want to do. But I have learned in my field that I'm in now that there's certifications that I want to get. There's different things that I actually want to do. So I'm really excited about this next chapter. But when I was in my master's program, my instructor, she told me something that really stuck with me. She said, in undergrad, you're learning what your professors want you to know. In your master's, you're learning what you find important. It's your chance to show that you've mastered the art of research. And yes, that's a mouthful, but it literally led me to like point 4. Like, I've been learning what other people want me to learn for so long. You know, when you're a kid, your parents groom you to be a certain way, okay? Like my parents, you will have manners, you will know the value of $1, you will be clean, and you will always stand up for yourself in the most respectful way possible until you have to do something otherwise. So those are things that, of course, have stuck with me, and I love those things. But it also was like, dang, I'm an adult now. I have to actually sit here and learn or unlearn things, right? Like, I know that coming from a big city and coming down to the South, which is a minor city, but it's not as big of a city as I'm used to, people aren't moving the same way that you are. And when you move with a pace and with purpose, people don't necessarily do that down here, right? Growing up, I wasn't ever pressed to have a car because I was in New York. We had metro systems, right? But now being in the South, you literally need a car to get everywhere. And I think something else that I should have unlearned was that saying that's how I always am is not an appropriate answer for when you are being disrespectful or when you're doing things that you know other people wouldn't like. So I'm not one that's going to be flawless, obviously, because we're all with flaws, but I am learning so much about myself in this 20s era, but I definitely have learned that the learned behaviors that I've picked up, not only in my household, but with my friends, with other things, like I feel like I've adopted a shopping problem, low key, but not really. And I found ways to unlearn that, you know? I have always understood how I am as a person, but learning things from other people, you have to decide which ones fit you and which ones don't, right? It's all about alignment. If it doesn't align with how you are or who you want to be, you should let go of those things. And that also includes friendships. We already had an episode on that. So if you guys would like to hear the friendship episode, go ahead and after this video ends or after this episode ends, go ahead and click that one. I think you'll enjoy it. But I'm learning that starting over and unlearning hard behaviors, being in alignment, all these things are so important in your 20s, and it makes or breaks your time. If you're always going to focus on the mistakes that you made, you're going to have a shitty life, period. But if you're going to look back and you can eventually laugh at some of the mistakes that you've made and you can grow from those things, that's what's most important. So that honestly, I feel like I was talking so fast, but sorry. That's honestly my tidbit and my 4 things about my 20s that I've learned so far. And I cannot wait until I obviously can't wait. I will wait until I'm 30 to share my entire synopsis of being 20 in my 20s. And I think something else, an honorable mention, is travel. The money will come back, but of course, budget appropriately and then travel, because you want to make sure that you obviously can get back home or that you can obviously have a good time spending money. But yes, that is my brief synopsis of being in my 20s, 5 years in. And I just want to say thank you to everybody that listens to the podcast. Thank you if you liked any of them. Thank you if you guys are giving me ideas for episodes. I appreciate it. And I am so invested in this opportunity to speak to you all in this real candid way. I hope that you guys like videos like this and episodes like this, because I cannot wait to do more. Give me some suggestions that you guys would like to hear, and I will be more than glad to do those for you. Thank you guys so much. And y'all know where to find me each and every Friday, okay? Period. It's been real. It's been fun. It's also been real fun. I'll see you guys for another one on next Friday. Bye.